When a woman tells you, you don't love me, and the man is thinking, oh my gosh, what do you mean? She knows you love her. What she's trying to say is that something you have done in recent times makes me feel like you don't love me. My husband doesn't understand my emotions. He doesn't get it. I hear this too many times in counseling. I feel your pain. I can imagine how you feel and what you're going through. Men have what we call restrictive emotions, and sometimes it's also culturally learned. Men talk in, what do you want me to do? The man needs time. For a man to begin to understand your feelings and your emotions, he needs to be taught. He needs a teacher to teach him, to speak woman to him. Hi, how are you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever part of the world you are in. My name is Toju Oluwatoyinbo, and I'm a marriage and relationship counselor coach, and I'm really excited to be speaking to you today. All right, today we're talking about something that I already have a spin-off in my head, another video to create, and I promise I'm going to do that. Today we're talking about emotions. My husband doesn't understand my emotions. My husband doesn't understand how I feel. My husband doesn't get me. I hear this too many times in counseling. He doesn't get it. It's like I'm talking to a wall. He's not just getting it. I've tried, I've talked and I've talked. I keep on saying the same thing. Now it feels like I'm nagging. It feels like I just want to be mad. I just want to be crazy. I just want to be annoying. Oh my gosh, I want to give you a hug so much because I feel your pain. I can imagine how you feel and what you're going through. Because to you, what you are saying is so obvious. The snail walking across the road can understand it. I don't mean that in a derogating way, but it already sounds derogating to you. Derogatory, derogating. Why does this always happen? Derogatory. He doesn't get it. And if you're married to a good man, it's not because he wants to be mean to you or he wants to be wicked. So I want to look at 6 reasons your husband might not understand your emotions. And let me just give this as a general aside before I go into the specifics. And also remember that I'm going to create a whole video. The video I want to create is why men are not emotionally expressive the way women are. Now, let's not get it twisted. Men are emotional. And I dare say that men are as emotional as women, but we don't express the same emotions the same way or the same frequency or the same intensity. Okay? But men are just as emotional as women. And this has been researched, this has been found, it has been debunked by saying, oh, men are just logical and women are just emotional. No. And by the way, being emotional should not be, related to, or should not be synonymous with being irrational. Being emotional does not mean you're irrational. It doesn't mean you're not thinking. It doesn't mean that you have low-level thinking. No. It just means that you're expressing how you feel in a particular way. It doesn't mean you can't reason. It doesn't mean you're going to make a dumb decision. However, if you stay in that emotional state, you might make a dumb decision. But how you feel at that time is how you're expressing it at that time. But who says being emotional and being rational cannot exist in the same season, context, or person? Okay? But yeah, I'm going to create that video as to why men are expressive in a different way. Why does my husband not understand my emotions? Again, so generally, men don't talk in feelings. Men talk in facts. Men talk in 1 + 1. Men talk in what do you need? Men talk in what do you want me to do? Men talk in what should I change? Men talk in what changed yesterday, you were happy, why you start today. They don't really talk in feelings. Men have what we call restrictive emotions. And sometimes it's also culturally learned. And again, this will be in the detailed video I share. It's culturally learned. So they would rather express emotions like anger, or maybe even laughter, or maybe even intense, the facial expression, or maybe even tears when they are watching a soccer game. But they're not going to cry if they feel sad. So they might cry at a soccer game, but they will not necessarily cry if they feel sad. And they may not necessarily cry if they feel sad in public. So you see that they have restricted layers for their emotions. So it's not that they don't cry, but they will not cry for sadness, especially if the sadness is not as deep to them as it is to the woman. And then they will not cry in public, but they will cry. All right. For the woman, on the other hand, she will cry when she's happy. She will cry when she's sad. She will cry in private and she will cry in public. All right. So it applies different ways for men and women. So you need to understand that your husband might have restrictive emotional expression, or because of the cultural context we have grown in as Africans, it's not his first go-to. So what is obvious to you, like I always say, is not obvious to him, all right? That leads to point number 2. For a man to begin to understand your feelings and your emotions, he needs to be taught. He needs a teacher to teach him, to speak woman to him, to speak feminine to him, to speak your type of emotion to him. Because he expresses emotion, whether it's anger, whether it's passion, whether it's drive, whatever it is, he experiences it, he expresses it, but maybe not like you, as much as you, or the particular emotions you express. So you need to, just the same way a child needs to learn ABC and then string CAT to form cat, you also need to express and teach him how to understand these emotions. It's even better when another man teaches him. Another man who has graduated from nursery and kindergarten into primary and secondary and is now in uni can also explain to him, okay? I remember Pastor Kingsley giving a particular example one day. Let me try and see if I remember the specifics or I can paraphrase. Okay, I'll take a random one. I don't remember the exact specifics of the one he shared. But when a woman tells you, you don't love me, and the man is thinking, oh my gosh, what do you mean? It's not that. She knows you love her. What she's trying to say is that something you have done yesterday or today, or something you have done in recent times, makes me feel like you don't love me. And that love makes me feel like you didn't pay attention to me, makes me feel that you know I want something, but you didn't buy it for me, makes me feel like you should have spent a little more time with me, but you didn't spend time with me. And because you didn't spend that time with me, I feel like whatever or whoever you spend time with, you prioritize that person above me. So there are feelings, and we know that feelings are fleeting, and they can just be for that moment. But we kind of build a monument around it at that time. And sometimes it's just because we want to get your attention. We want to know that you still want us as much as we want you, that you're still connected to us as much as we are connected to you. All right? So it's not really about the incident, it's about the feeling. I remember Reverend Albert Oduwole giving an example, and he said, a man told his wife, oh, I just bought you a new car, a Ferrari 6-cylinder, something, leather seat. And the woman is like, okay, thank you. And the man's like, what do you mean by, okay, thank you? I just bought you this car. Do you know how much it cost me? But the woman cannot relate. The man is obviously a car gadget freak person. And 6 gas cylinders, V8 engine, leather seat means something to him, but it means nothing to us. But if you tell her, there's the way he put it, I can't put the lines like he did. But if you tell her, I just bought a car that makes me feel as much as you make me feel. The speed at which this car goes is the speed that you brought into my life. It's the speed at which I've gone into destiny since you came into my life. That begins to make some sense. The red and black interior of this car is nothing compared to the beauty that you are going to emanate in the black and red dress I bought for you tonight to match this car. You know, so we're more about the feelings. That's not to say we're not factual, we're not logical, we don't have sense. But the truth is, women are moved by the things that they hear. And the things that we hear make us feel the love, the passion, the intensity, and the commitment, okay? So don't be there when you're trying to toast a woman. This is why they say bad boys get good girls fast, because they know how to talk. Okay, so he needs to be taught by you, and also preferably by a man who is now at a uni level. All right. Number 3 is that the man needs time. Now that you have taught today, don't expect him to get 10 over 10 tomorrow. Okay. And it can be frustrating, the time between him getting it and you feeling loved, satisfied, heard, understood. But this is what marriage is. I think I've shared here before. Marriage is giving to your spouse something that you don't need, something that you don't desire. But your spouse needs it, which is why marriage is a place where you will be selfless and where you will die to self. So here you are, your husband does not need all this emotional higgy haga, whatever. He's good the way he is, but you need it. But for you to get what you need, you're going to have to give him something that he needs so that you can get what you need. And in this process, it's time. Okay? So in between now and then, You need to enjoy your marriage. You need to appreciate. You need to be pleasant. You need to be loving. You need to thrive in the other things that are working in the marriage, okay? Number 4, and I think I've shared this before. This is something that works across board, not just in this particular context, anything. Anything that you want to see in life, give it, okay? If you want respect, give respect. If you want honor, give honor. If you want resources, give resources. You might want money, you might not have money to give, but you are giving service. You are giving suggestions. You're giving counsel. You're giving your time, okay? You need to sow to reap. So here you are saying that your husband is not understanding your feelings and your emotions. But the things that he has told you that you're not getting, you're not understanding, you're not doing, are you making effort, intentional effort to do, to learn, to improve on? The thing that he's told you 3 months ago, how far? The thing that he told you 2 weeks ago, how far? The thing that he told you last week, how far? Don't be that woman that is insisting. Don't be that man either. But don't be that woman who is insisting that, I can't pour from an empty tank. You're not empty. You're not empty because you didn't come to this marriage empty. People are always the one dragging that I bring something to the table. That's something that you brought to the table. Now is the time to manifest it. Okay? Right. So he hasn't gotten this 100%. So don't put everything you have on hold until you feel satisfied with what he has given to you. No, pour into him as well. The part that he feels you can do better. You're not perfect. You're not all that. Listen, you are not all that. You are great, too. You're fantastical, but you're not all that. Okay? Because there are things that your husband or your wife requires that you don't have. And nobody had called you out on it before, but your marriage is calling you out on it. Your friends had been accepting it, but your spouse is not going to accept it. All right? So give what you want to receive. Your husband will not want the same thing that you want, but there's something that he wants as well. Give it. Number 5, you want to learn to communicate better. I've shared many times, if a man feels attacked, he's not going to answer you. If he feels insulted, he's not going to answer you. So even this expression of, I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out. I don't know how it lands on people's ears. When I hear calling out, I'm hearing shaming. I'm hearing fighting. I'm hearing being antagonistic. Okay? But when you're talking about helping the person see what they can do better, and not just see what they can do better, how they can do better. Because it's one thing for you to come and tell me I'm dumb. I feel insulted. I feel slighted. I feel useless. I feel incapacitated. So what are you doing with me? But if you tell me I'm dumb, but hey, I have a genius plan to make you brilliant in 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, tell me, let's talk about it. So you want to be careful the way you communicate to your husband. You don't want to tell him that your emotional intelligence is 0. Your emotional intelligence is in minus. Your emotional intelligence is deeper red than the blood of Jesus. Like, are you trying to get me to help you and to be better for you? Are you trying to insult me? Okay? So you want to be careful how you communicate it. And I know women in this day are like, why do we have to baby men all the time? If you want your marriage to work and you want to last, you have to use sense. I'm not saying be a doormat, but communicate better. And like we always say, don't think it in your head, say it out. Because the man that cannot decode the one he's seeing, is it the one that he's not seeing that he will now decode? Don't give yourself stress. So you want to communicate better. And finally, closely related to giving what you want, you have to meet him halfway. If he has come from 0 to 45%, can you be happy with 45% first? Can you celebrate 45%? Can you praise it? Can you make it loud? Can you tell your counselor that he's actually really tried though? Not that when you come to the counseling meeting, like, he's trying, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. You just poured cold water on the man's efforts. Meet him halfway. Celebrate the wins. You know how he was when he was at 0. 45% coming from 0 is a long way. Meet him halfway, knowing that as long as he's not stagnant, as long as he's not stoic, as long as he's not unwilling, there's so much hope. Okay? So 60 years of a marriage is a long time. He will make improvement. He'll make progress. All right? So I hope that with these 6 points, you're able to see how to manage your husband not understanding your emotions. And please look out for that video where I teach more about how a man's emotions differ from us and how that can help galvanize for a better relationship, foster a better relationship in your marriage. All right, until the next video, I will see you. Bye.